My sister, the favored one, took my identity to support her extravagant way of living. So I had her arrested during her engagement celebration and watched her world fall apart. I'm Sarah, and I learned that sometimes the only way to handle a leech is to destroy the host it's draining. I grew up in a family where my younger sister, Tiffany, was the center of attention. She was the golden girl, attractive, cheerful, and completely inept. My parents, Mark and Linda, treated her like a delicate doll, shielding her from harsh truths. Meanwhile, I was the dependable one. I earned good grades, won a scholarship, worked my way through college, and secured a high-paying job as a software engineer. Tiffany, however, dropped out of 3 colleges because her professors were too harsh and spent her 20s trying to become an influencer. She didn't have a job or skills, but she owned nice things like a Mercedes and designer clothes and traveled to Tulum and Bali. I always thought my parents were financing her lifestyle. They weren't wealthy, but they had some savings and a paid-off home. I assumed they were dipping into their nest egg to keep their princess satisfied. I warned them it was a poor choice, but they told me to stop being envious. Tiffany just has expensive tastes, my mom said. You wouldn't get it, Sarah. I didn't mind what she spent, as long as it wasn't my money. I was focused on my savings, living simply, driving a 10-year-old Toyota, and cooking at home. My goal was to buy my dream house before turning 30. I finally found it, a gorgeous Victorian in a peaceful neighborhood. I had the down payment and income ready. I walked into the bank confidently to apply for a mortgage, but left feeling as if I'd been punched in the gut. I'm sorry, Miss Miller, the loan officer said, looking at me with sympathy. We can't approve this loan. Your debt-to-income ratio is staggering, and your credit score is 420. That's impossible, I exclaimed. I have no debt. I pay my credit card bill every month. He turned the monitor toward me. There were 11 credit cards in my name: American Express Platinum, Chase Sapphire, and high-end department store cards. There was a loan for a Mercedes G-Wagon and a personal loan for $50,000. The total debt exceeded $200,000, with payments months overdue. The address linked to these accounts wasn't my apartment. It was my parents' house. I drove straight there, trembling not just with anger, but with fear. Identity theft is a nightmare. It ruins your life for years. I burst into my parents' home. Tiffany was there, sitting on the couch and painting her nails, wearing a Rolex. Sarah, my mom chirped. We didn't expect you. Who did this? I slammed the credit report down on the coffee table. Tiffany jumped. God, Sarah, chill out. Look at it, I yelled. Someone opened 11 credit cards in my name. Someone bought a Mercedes in my name. Was it you, Tiffany? She didn't seem afraid. She looked irritated. She glanced at my mom. Mom sighed, as if I were the unreasonable one. Sarah, sit down, Dad said, walking in from the kitchen. We need to talk. I don't want to talk. I want to know why my credit is ruined. We had to do it, Mom said gently. Tiffany was in trouble. I stared at them, bewildered. What? Tiffany needs to maintain her lifestyle, Mom explained. She wants to be an influencer. She needs the clothes, the car, the trips. It's an investment in her career. So you stole my identity? I asked, my voice shaking. We didn't steal it, Dad replied. We borrowed it. We used your social security number because your credit was good. We meant to pay it back. You bought a G-Wagon. I shouted. You spent $200,000. It's for her brand, Tiffany retorted. You have a good job, Sarah. You make 6 figures. You can afford to help me. Why are you being so selfish? Selfish. I laughed, a bitter sound. You committed a crime. This is fraud. Federal fraud. Don't use that word, Mom snapped. We're family. We help each other. Stop making a scene. We can set up a payment plan. You could pay the minimums until Tiffany gets a brand deal. Yee. I pointed at myself. You want me to pay for the debt you created in my name? Well, you're the one with the job, Tiffany said, blowing on her nails. And honestly, if you report this, you'll send your own sister to jail. Do you really want that on your conscience? They all looked at me as a united front. They truly believed I existed solely to support Tiffany. They thought I would just give in. I glanced at Tiffany's Rolex and the shopping bags in the corner. No, I said calmly. I don't want to ruin your life, Tiffany. Good, Dad said. I knew you'd be reasonable. I'll figure it out. I lied. I need to go home and think about this. Take your time, Mom said, smiling. We love you, Sarah. I left their house, got into my old Toyota, and drove straight to the police station. I didn't just file a report. I sat with a detective for 3 hours. I shared the credit report and played the recording of their confession, a habit I picked up in corporate America. Detective Miller listened to the tape. This is a slam dunk, Sarah, she said. But you need to understand that if we pursue this, your parents will also be implicated. They facilitated the fraud. I know, I replied. Burn them all. We devised a plan. The police wanted to arrest them, but I requested a specific timing. I wanted it to sting. Tiffany was recently engaged to a guy named Brad, a wealthy venture capitalist. He believed she was rich because of the car, the clothes, and the lifestyle my credit had funded. Their engagement party was set for the following Saturday, at a posh country club. Can we do it then? I asked Detective Miller. She smiled. We usually arrest people at home, but if they're all in one place, and we have warrants for all 3, it saves us resources. For the next week, I played the part. I called my mom, saying I was consolidating the debt and would handle it. Oh, thank you, Sarah, she squealed. You're such a good sister. You should come to the engagement party. Brad's parents will be there. It'll be huge. I wouldn't miss it for the world, I replied. The day of the party arrived. I wore a simple black dress and walked into the lavish country club, complete with ice sculptures, a chocolate fountain, and a string quartet. Tiffany was in a white dress that resembled a wedding gown, showing off a huge diamond ring. Brad stood proudly next to her, while my parents beamed, champagne glasses in hand, accepting congratulations on their successful daughter. I approached them. "Sarah," Tiffany said, her smile tense. "You came. Try not to look so gloomy. This is my big day." "You look expensive," I remarked. I know, she winked. "Brad loves a woman with class." Brad turned to me. "Nice to meet you, Sarah. Tiffany tells me you work in computers." "Something like that," I replied. "I actually work in risk management." "Boring," Tiffany laughed. "Anyway, go get a drink. Stay out of the photos." I headed to the bar, ordered a soda, and checked my watch. 7 p.m. The ballroom doors swung open, the music stopped, and chatter faded. 6 uniformed officers and 2 detectives in suits entered. My mother dropped her champagne glass. It shattered on the marble floor. "What is this?" Brad asked, stepping forward. "Gentlemen, this is a private event," Detective Miller said, stepping toward Tiffany. "Tiffany Jenkins." "Yes," Tiffany replied, her voice small. "You are under arrest for identity theft, wire fraud, bank fraud, and grand larceny." Gasps filled the room, a collective intake of breath that sucked the air out. "What?" Tiffany laughed nervously. "This is a prank. Sarah, is this your idea of a joke?" Detective Miller produced handcuffs. "It's not a joke, ma'am. Turn around and put your hands behind your back." "Whoa!" Tiffany screamed, backing away and knocking over a tray of appetizers. "Daddy, do something." Dad stepped forward. "Now see here, officer, this is a misunderstanding. My daughter is Mark Jenkins." Another officer interrupted. "You are also under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud and aiding and abetting." "And Linda Jenkins," the officer pointed at my mom. "You too." Chaos erupted. Tiffany screamed as they cuffed her. "I'm innocent. My sister did this. She's jealous of me." Brad looked at me, then at Tiffany, then the police. "Fraud?" he asked the detective. "What are you talking about?" "She stole her sister's identity," the detective announced for everyone to hear. "She opened over $200,000 in credit cards and loans in Sarah Jenkins's name to fund her lifestyle. The car outside was bought with stolen money, the clothes with stolen money, and this party was likely funded with a fraudulent card." Brad turned pale, looking at Tiffany in horror. "You told me you had a trust fund," he whispered. "I do." Tiffany sobbed. "I mean, my parents handle it." "Brad, baby, tell them to stop." Brad stepped back, removed the ring from Tiffany's finger, and pocketed it. "Don't call me baby," he said. "I can't be associated with criminals." "Brad," she shrieked as they dragged her out, kicking and screaming like a child. My parents went quietly, heads down, trying to avoid their friends' and neighbors' gazes. I stood by the bar sipping my soda, the crowd staring at me, some horrified, some curious. I walked to the table piled with gifts, picked up a silver frame my parents had brought for the couple, and headed to the parking lot. I watched them being loaded into 3 separate squad cars, the lights flashing against the night sky. Tiffany saw me and pressed her face to the police car window, mouthing, "I hate you. I hate you." I smiled and waved. The aftermath was lengthy and complicated, but it was worth every moment, because I had the recording of their confession. The legal case was solid. They couldn't claim it was a mistake or that I gave them permission. They admitted on tape they borrowed it without consent. Tiffany faced 15 counts of fraud. Since the total was over $200,000, she was facing serious time. My parents were charged as accomplices. They pleaded with me to drop the charges, sending letters from jail, and having their lawyer offer a settlement. "We'll sell the house," the lawyer said. "We'll pay you back every cent." "I don't want the money," I told the lawyer. "I want justice." The credit card companies and banks cleared my record after receiving the police report and fraud affidavit. It took months of paperwork, but my credit score gradually improved. The debt was transferred to Tiffany and my parents. They lost everything, selling their house and draining their retirement accounts to cover legal fees. Tiffany pleaded guilty to avoid a 10-year sentence and received 4 years in federal prison. My parents got 2 years of probation and faced a hefty restitution bill, plus a felony record that cost my dad his job as an insurance broker. I didn't visit Tiffany in prison, but I learned from a mutual acquaintance that she was struggling. The golden girl didn't know how to survive where no one cared about her outfits or Instagram followers. She was working in the prison laundry for 12 cents an hour. Brad sued her for the money he spent during their relationship, claiming fraud. This added another layer of debt she would never escape. As for me, I received my promotion, restored my credit score, and 6 months ago, I finally bought that Victorian house. I live there alone with a cat named Justice. Sometimes, my mom calls me from a blocked number, leaving voicemails in tears, saying they're living in a small apartment, struggling to pay rent, asking why I had to be so cruel. "We just wanted to help your sister," she says. "We were a family." I delete the messages without listening to the end. We were never a family. I was a bank account, and they were thieves. Last Christmas, I sent Tiffany a card in prison, a picture of me in front of my new house holding the keys. Inside, I wrote identity recovered. Credit score 800. Hope the orange jumpsuit matches your brand. She didn't respond. I sleep very well at night. The silence in my beautiful house is calming. Cutting off dead weight doesn't just make you lighter, it helps you soar.